Hey, we like your pod.
And we're going to tell you why. That's why we're here. Hi, it's Dawn here, and I'm joined by my trusted partner, Matt Pickett, as we await the next game.
Woo-hoo!
The Chicago Bears. It's Bears week. So, Maddie, tell us about your week, and please tell us about last Sunday.
Yeah, the most interesting part that I could talk about was definitely last Sunday, since I was at the game. It was my first NFL game I've ever been to. And it was really cool because my dad and my stepmom came down from Wisconsin to see the game with me. They've been to 10 or 20 games at Lambeau, but only ever at Lambeau. So it was like their first game that wasn't in Wisconsin. And normally throughout the game, I'm texting back and forth with my dad. And so I realized like halfway through, it's like, wait a minute, I'm sitting here next to my dad, like watching the game happening before our eyes. And it was amazing. It was a great experience. Related to that, I had asked the Wednesday Pack a Day crew, and they got my question at the last minute, which was really fortunate. I'd asked them, what's your favorite thing about going to the game? And Dusty went into this whole thing about like the energy of the crowd. And it really resonated with me because just like, when I'm kind of like, just taking his words almost here, but like when you're at home, like you're, like, yay, whatever. But like when you're out there in the stadium with the people, like when something cool happens, like you're screaming, like you're up on your feet and you're like, no! I was like, I am being so loud, but everyone is being so loud and this is so much fun. And the energy of the crowd is amazing. So, it was a really great experience. And like, obviously, the game was ridiculous. Just one of the weirder games I've ever seen, right up there. And because watching it at home, I would have like felt like the push and pull of like the anxiety and the elation and back and forth. But then imagine having that like amplified with like the energy of the crowd. Like we all walked out of there just like exhausted, just like we had nothing left to give. Plus it was hot. We were all sweaty and many beers were consumed across the crowd. So it was a funny sort of like zombie crowd walking out of there trying to comprehend what weirdness we had just seen. So it was amazing. In short, it was amazing.
That's wonderful. And I guess that would have applied to either team you were rooting for because it
Absolutely.
because wasn't it 6 field goal? Was it 6 kicks that were missed?
5 were missed in a row.
Okay. I thought it was 5 and then I heard six somewhere and it was 3. What I just heard was 3 field goal attempts and 1 extra point from Mason, but I thought it was 2 and 1 missed. And then of course
3 and 1 from Mason missed, 2 from the other team's kicker. Yeah. Because the way how it went was that we went down the field and he missed. So like in the fourth quarter, Mason missed, Bengals went back down, they missed. We got it back down the field really fast, like it's San Francisco. And that would have been like in the last second, like walk off, win, and he missed. So they went in overtime. And we got the interception, Devondre Campbell. Oh my gosh, he's amazing. And then we went for that weird 3rd down field goal, you remember? And that was a miss. So that was his 3rd miss. And the Bengals kicker got it back and miss, and we got it back and win. And in fact, when the win happened, I was kind of confused about the overtime rules because they're weird, And so I didn't realize at first that when Mason Crosby got it through, that was actually the end of the game. And I realized it when I saw the team like running onto the field, in celebration. I was like, wait a minute. And like, I think at that same point, the crowd around me, this was like, and like just all freaked out. And it was just this huge expenditure of, emotional pent up energy. And like, it was amazing. So yeah, I've just been kind of riding off of that for the whole rest of the week. Basically, it's been a good week because of that.
Yeah, I loved your explanation of how it must have sounded when you were explaining the game, and then it went in to your workmates.
Yeah,
it was from that. I forgot the film. Was that Princess Bride?
No, it was Holy Grail.
Holy Grail. Yeah. So anywho, yeah, that I kept thinking, what a game for you to have as your first game.
Tell you what,
To
yes.
see in person. Gee, you'll never forget it.
That is very true. Yeah.
And you didn't have to text your dad. And so how much I was watching, I was going to tell you, I was going to send you a message earlier. I didn't get around to it, saying, turn off your phone and just enjoy the game. But at the same time, I probably didn't do it because I wanted to see I wanted to see pictures and stuff.
Yeah, I was on my phone not nearly as much as I would be normally during a game. There have been times when my wife is like, are you actually watching this game? It's like, yeah, I'm on my phone, like on commercials between plays, like seeing what people are saying on Twitter and like, interacting. But yeah, no, it's hardly on my phone at all compared to usual while I'm at the game. So
right.
Yeah.
Good for you, because then you could really take it all in.
Yeah.
Plus, you got to have a hand to like drink that beer.
Yeah, that's right. And whatever. It's a lot of standing up and sitting down. It's a lot of that. Surprised how much that was. My knees were tired afterwards. One last thought about the game, and then we should probably keep going. One of the things I like the most about it that I didn't mention is just because we were like way up in the nosebleeds, literally 2 rows from like the very end. So like way up there. And at first I was like, oh man, those are kind of bad seats. Like they were affordable, but they were kind of like, but the nice thing about it is that though it took us like forever to get up there, was you could see the play really develop in a way that you can't see on TV because it's not that far out of an angle. I think, things I've seen from like the all 22 footage of games, people post or whatever, like it's kind of like that, but even better because just to see everything happening and like, where are the receivers going? What are the the safeties and the cornerbacks doing? Like what's happening at the line? Like just everything, you can see it just develop, and it was really neat. I liked that a lot.
Oh, good, because I was actually going to ask you that. I was going to ask you how well you could see all of that, and if it was better than television, because I feel like sometimes it's they have such great videography.
Yeah.
That, and then what's nice is they're explaining, like they remind you of I mean, we should all know the overtime rules now, because every single Monday night football game has gone into OT, which has been great. But could you tell that? So as long as it's in the first 10 minutes, well, they each get the ball once. Of course, we were lucky on the toss, the coin flip, right?
I mean, the Bengals started with it. The Bengals got to choose, so we didn't win the coin flip.
They gave it to us.
No, the Bengals started with it, and they threw the interception to Devondre Campbell on the first drive.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
See, I forgot. I mean, there was so much.
There was so much that happened. Yeah,
I was so focused on the kick. Yeah, so the kicks, when so the first team that scores.
If the team that starts with it gets a touchdown in the first drive, that's the end. If they get a field goal, the other team, or if they don't score, the other team gets at least one chance to also do a drive. And if it's like field goal first team, field goal second team, then they keep going. If it's field goal first team, then touchdown second team, I think that team wins. But after that second drive, then it's sudden death. I'm pretty sure.
Right. Okay.
It must be, because that's how the game ended.
It must have been. Yeah.
The quarter was, or the period
because
wasn't over.
They didn't get a field goal or a touchdown. Yeah, the Packers got a chance. Mm-hmm. And then the last field goal miss from the Bengals, and I forgot the name of their punter.
I can't remember either.
Totally spaced out. He thought it went in. Could you tell it wasn't in?
Yeah. Because that's a funny thing. If you try to watch the ball, you can't tell if it goes in. I'm surprised how hard it is to tell. So after like the second kick of the day, my dad's like, we just got to watch like the Jumbotron to see like the better angle. And that's actually a really like gets to a bigger point I was going to say too, which is that one of the things about being at the game I found is a lot of things are confusing because you don't have, like you said, like the people explaining it, the commentators, you don't have like the angles kind of like, pointing your attention to certain things. Like right. There's moments you're like, I don't know what happened. And you watch the replay, like, I don't really understand. Like, there's nobody explaining it, right. So there are definitely a couple confusing moments, like the end of the game, for example. But yeah, so the field goals, I was just trying to watch for like the refs to like give the, the signal for if it went in or not. And for that one, though, we all could pretty much see it like hit that flag that was on the side. So just on the outside of it.
Wow.
And like, I was like, oh, didn't make it. And the refs right over signaling, but the guy didn't, of course, see the refs. He thought he had it in. So you can, we can see him on the Jumbotron celebrating. And I'm like, buddy.
Oh, that must have hurt extra much.
I mean,
oh man,
that's very empathetic of you to take that stance.
I know a lot of people were making fun of him.
More hilarious and at the moment, I guess, but
yes, I have a tendency to be that way. I really feel sorry for the Lions.
Sure. No, I do too.
The team and the fans.
The coach crying in the press conference. I feel bad for him.
Yes. I mean, it's, you're trying so hard to do something. And I mean, in two of those games, they should have won.
Yeah.
It's heartbreaking. And I'm not the kind of person who's going to really want to grind. I mean, I just want the best team to win. Obviously, I want our team to win. I want the Packers to win all the games, but I want a good game and a good effort. And I don't feel sorry for all the teams. I won't. I will not name some of them. Grind them into the ground. No, but yeah. But that was so back and forth. I just felt. I don't know that I would have felt that way just in a regular win, but because of how I felt.
Yeah.
Roller coaster.
And that would have been the win for them, and I can see that would have been really exciting and special for him, but then realize it was not.
Right.
That must have been crushing.
It must have been. And now we're laughing. Yeah, that's what I meant. It was just oh, that's so sad. And I felt really for Mason Crosby, I mean, he's so reliable and he was like, whoa. But we'll get to that in our superlatives. And I'm just going to skip over what I did this week, but I watched a lot of football. Obviously, I watched Monday Night Football because I know there was an overtime, and that's cool. And I think by Monday night, that ends the week, the football week. Thursday night starts the week, which is tonight. And it's Tampa Bay and the Eagles.
Yeah, it's 28-7 right now. It is not how I was hoping it would go, but it's how I thought it would go.
That's too bad. Well, the Eagles were holding up pretty well before.
Yeah, early in the game, they looked pretty good. But
yeah, I know. And then they had one interception that I guess it wasn't after 5 minutes of,
Yeah.
I thought it had to, never mind.
Why'd you take 6 minutes and 5 seconds to do a replay review last night? Now, it's not just Clay Martin. That's Walt Anderson. That's the replay review process. That was an absolute total disgrace.
As I always say on this podcast, I know nothing about football. I'm trying to learn, but I do know I have fun watching it. And I guess I finally learned enough where I can actually enjoy watching it, because years ago I didn't want to have anything to do with it because I didn't know what was going on. It was just a bunch of yelling and people being violent. And I just thought it was brutal. And I don't like condiments. So going to the game is ew, I smell ketchup. Yuck. And so, and I of course went to many games or several games at Lambeau, but I didn't especially understand what was going on, to your point, because there was nobody there on the radio. So I tend to listen, especially Packers game. I listen really to most of the games on mute, and then I find the local radio station. So I would have found the Philadelphia sports station that was covering it tonight and listened to that. I certainly would not have listened to the Tampa Bay, but I listened to Wayne Larrabee, WTMJ. And I just, and they explain everything, and you get more insights about the Packers team. Like if somebody went out for an injury, they'll follow up on that. And you might not hear that on the national coverage. So you know what's going on.
And Wayne and Larry's report is so great. I love listening to them.
They're so good and so thorough, and they're fair. I mean, even though it's Packers coverage, they're pretty fair. They're always complimenting the other team when they do something great. Yeah. So we're heading into week 7 tonight with that game we just spoke about, Eagles and Tampa Bay. And
that's the right math, Don. Is it week 6 we're going into?
Week 6?
Yeah.
Week six. I got ahead of myself. I've already counted, our next win.
There it is.
The Chicago Bears, who came with the dumbest game plan in the history of football.